Where is God by Arthur E. Leakey, Chapter 6, A God for Modern Man, Part 2, A God of Beauty. Temptation must be resisted here. Volumes might be written about beauty. There are the sunlight sky by day, the starlight sky by night, earth's carpet of green, the wild profusion of tinted flowers perfuming the air, lofty trees, enchanting lakes, peaceful rivers, lofty mountains, and mighty seas. From the twittering bird on a lowly branch to the rainbow that spans the sky, beauty abounds in fantastic profusion. We symbolize it with a story. An old Scottish shepherd tended his flock in the springtime pastures. He fell in with a gentleman examining wild flowers through a magnifying glass. The old man's new friend plucked a tiny flower, placed it under the glass, and invited the shepherd to take a look. He did. He kept on looking. His lips quivered. A tear rolled down his weather beaten face. "Why are you troubled?" inquired his friend. "I was just thinking," was the old man's wistful answer. "As I looked at the gorgeous beauty of that little flower, how many thousands of them I have trampled under my heavy shepherd's boots, and never paid any heed to them. Many times we are like the New England farmer who picked up a youthful hitchhiker. As they rode along in the wagon, the young man showed him some beautiful pictures he had taken in the neighborhood. One of them especially pleased the farmer. "Where was that taken?" he inquired. "I don't recall, as I am a stranger in these parts," answered the youth. When they had reached the farmer's gate, the young man suddenly smiled and said, "This is the very gateway in the picture." "And to think I had never noticed how beautiful the place was before," said the farmer in his warm answer. Man is called to appreciate beauty and to worship the God of beauty. It is true that eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. 1 Corinthians 2:9. Yet even now, beauty and loveliness meet the eye at 1,000 angles, and some day thine eyes shall see the King in thy beauty. Isaiah 33:17. Even to the child, the beauties of the present speak of our Father God, who gave them to us for our enjoyment, and stir imagination to grasp the picture of that land mine eye hath seen in visions of enraptured thought, so bright that all which spreads between is with its radiant glorious fraught. And nature, the old nurse, took the child upon her knee, saying, "Here's the story book thy father has written for thee. Come, wander with me," she said, "into regions yet untrod, and read what is still unread in the manuscripts of God." By Longfellow. A God of law. Our fourth consideration is the attribute of law. From the day a man is born to the day he dies, on every hand he beholds the operation of law and is himself subject to law. 20 stories above the street, a woman stood with the window ledge of a skyscraper hotel. While street watchers gazed in frozen amazement, she leaped from the ledge and plummeted to the pavement and death. Why did the body fall downward? Why not upward? Or why could it not descend more slowly? The answer is that there is a power which attracts mass weight downward, and there is a law that governs the speed of that falling body. The boy who drops his marble and sees it fall to the floor observes the same law. It is the self-same law that operates in the whole universe, from marbles to moons and moon systems, to sun and solar systems, to great group systems, to billions of gigantic suns and still greater cluster systems, to yet more enormous island universe systems of our suns and their families. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them by names by the greatness of his might, for that he is a strong in power, not one faileth. Isaiah 40:26. From the mote dancing in the sunbeam to the most giant sun and systems, so far away that light traveling at the rate of 186,000 miles per second would take millions of years to reach them. Law reigns. Through him, the universe is one harmonious whole. Colossians 1:17. Law governs fire. Law governs heat. Law governs pressure. Law governs all physics, all chemistry, all science, all art, all life, all everything. Law reigns. God reigns. From the very creation of the world, his invisible perfections, namely his eternal power and divine nature, have been perceptible and clearly visible from his works. Romans 1:20. There is a God. The sky his presence shares. His hand upheaves the billows in their mirth, destroys the mighty, yet the humble spares, and with contentment crowns the thought of worth. Charlotte Cushman. As law reigns in the physical realm, so does it also reign in the moral, spiritual realm. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Ecclesiastes 12:13. If thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. Matthew 19:17. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever. Psalms 111:7 and 8. The crowning attribute of God. If an intelligent, modern man is to worship God, he will conceive of him as a God of power, wisdom, beauty, and law. The things he sees and knows gives him no other choice. Yet these four attributes, power, wisdom, beauty, and law, are not sufficient. A forceful human ruler may wield immense power, possess a keen mind, admire beauty and art, and forge a great system of law, yet fail in drawing to himself the love and willing obedience of his people. If, in addition to the four considered qualities, he holds in his heart a great, constant, and sacred love for his subjects, then a happy realm will be his, provided his followers are sincere. Despite the curse of the evil which lies heavy on the earth, love is also present. There, down the street, a house was in flames. A crowd gathered quickly. The screaming siren sounded, and the fire engine was soon playing great streams of water on the burning home. Suddenly, a woman came running, tearing and forcing her way through the crowd. "Let me through," she cried. "My baby is in the house." Escaping from the grasp of firemen, she plunged through the door into the inferno of smoke, heat, flames, and fumes. Snatching her child from its cradle, she battled her way out to safety. The price? Burns and scars that destroyed her physical beauty for life. There is much hate, but there is also much love. Love of children and parents, love of brothers and sisters, all the varied and ramifying phases of filial and racial love, love of community, love of country, love of good causes, and love of God. Love is of God, 1 John 4:7. God is love, 1 John 4:8. Like a father pitieth his children, so the Lord pitieth them that fear him, Psalms 103:13. Can a woman forget her sucking child? Yea, they may forget, yet will I not forget thee, Isaiah 49:15. I have loved thee with an everlasting love, Jeremiah 31:3. Modern man, with his world falling apart, needs what man has always needed, and God is the same as he always was. Nothing can ever be so important to a man as for God and him to get together. Before a God of power, wisdom, beauty, law, and holy love, man may rule, man may truly worship. This is the God of the Bible. The experience is told of a skeptical French general who said, I cannot form the slightest conception of that mysterious being which man calls the good God. Demas, the novelist, is said to have replied, General, I have in my house 4 dogs, apes, and a parrot, and their opinions are absolutely identical with yours. Some reported a conversation with that esteemed lady, Evangeline Booth, General of the Salvation Army. She had passed the age of 80. She was asked, Have you always been sure of your faith? Her answer was on this wise: I have had my dark moments. Why did my mother die of cancer? Why did my father go blind? Why is the world so filled with sorrow and suffering? Then she added these significant words: God would not be much of a God if I could understand him perfectly. The universe would be trifling if I could perceive of it all clearly. This remarkable woman and her father and grandfather, through the forces of their consecrated service against the mighty bulwarks of sin and suffering, and won the platitudes of the world. The ugly specter of sin, sickness, and sorrow thrust itself squarely before them for 3/4 of a century. Notwithstanding, they believed fervently in a God of love, and they themselves became channels and living emissaries of that saving love to millions of disheartened men, women, and children. The greatest thing in the world is love, and God is love. Could we with ink the ocean fill, and were the skies of parchment made, were every stalk on earth a quill, and every man a scribe by trade, to write the love of God above would drain the ocean dry, nor could the scroll contain the whole, though script stretched from sky to sky. Mir Ben Isaac Nahora.